The final of the women's 5,000 metres. Genzebe Dibaba going for a truly historic double after scorching to victory in the 1,500 metres. Her sister, Tirunesh Dibaba, the world record holder, the championship record holder, she has 2 golds in this event. Can the younger sister add one to the family collection? Or will Almaz Ayana prove problematic for Genzebe Dibaba? Ayana's the fastest in the world this year, the 3rd fastest in history. Dibaba, the 4th fastest in history, although the new 1,500-metre world champion did beat her rival in a world record attempt in Paris earlier this year. Some fabulous Kenyans in this. Viola Kibiwott missed out on a medal in Moscow 2 years ago, but this is the favourite, Genzebe Dibaba. She's been in sparkling form this year, and considering how talented she is, she needed an outdoor global title here in Beijing. She's got 1. Will she be going home with 2? Massive, massive noise in the stadium for the women's javelin. We'll bring you that as soon as we possibly can. Mercy Chirono, silver medalist in Moscow, 4th fastest in the world this year, multiple world junior champion on cross country and the track. Four Kenyans in this one. Irene Cheptai's here, she's 2nd in the trials. There is Cheptai. There's Almaz Ayana though, a bronze medal 2 years ago. Can she beat her compatriot and her great rival and finish the distance events here in Beijing with an Ethiopian gold for herself? Janet Kisa starts on the inside, Commonwealth silver medalist last year, 6th in the world cross country a couple of years ago. But Genzebe Dibaba is the favourite here. 4 Kenyans, 3 Ethiopians, 2 Japanese, America, Australia, Great Britain, Bahrain, Netherlands and Austria also with representation. Viola Kibiwott and Mercy Chirono, the best of the Kenyan names to threaten the Ethiopian dominance. What kind of race is about to unfold? So how do they go about trying to run the sting out of the legs of someone who can run the 1,500 metres in 3:50.07? Genzebe Dibaba, lightning quick this year. She's in the form of her life, and now she's got the global outdoor title. She can relax into her running. And Steve Ovett, as we've seen in the marathon and on the track, Onishi and Suzuki, the 2 Japanese athletes, at the front, setting the pace. 72 seconds that lap, so it's around about 15-minute pace. And that's the reason why a group of 5 have become detached at the back. The Japanese setting the tone, but look who's right behind them, Genzebe Dibaba, and following her, Almaz Ayana, the 2 fastest in the world this year, and then 3 Kenyans in a row. So the early rhythm of this race being established by the Japanese, but Dibaba is tracking every move.
She's doing everything that she has to do, really, Dibaba. And it's going to be one of those races, I think, where it's going to be a cat and mouse between her and Ayana, who's in 4th place. Over the last 4 laps or so, I think they're quite happy, both of those, I think, to let the Japanese athletes just take it now through at a respectable pace. Not slow, but a respectable pace. Suzuki just moving ahead of her compatriot there, Onishi. Kibiwott, well, she's been the best of the Kenyans so far, just moving through onto the shoulder of Ayana. Behind her, though, Susan Kuchen is leading the European challenge, some, 30 metres back from this group in front.
2 different races going on here. Another 72-second lap, very consistent pacing. Viola Kibiwott just moving up onto the shoulder of one of her compatriots. 4th in Moscow, 6th in London. She's a double world junior cross-country champion. Almaz Ayana has hit the front. She's the fastest woman in the world this year, And she's in the lead with her compatriot, the gold medalist from the 1500, Genzebe Dibaba, on her shoulder, and Mercy Chirono leading the chasers. And this is more like it. This is a great race. She knows she's going to have to push the sting out of Genzebe Dibaba's finish, and she's really going for it here. This is a brave bid for gold.
Yeah, 68-second lap. The two Japanese who'd set the pace way back now, they went through 2K in 6:06.26, and then two Ethiopians went ahead.
Yeah, here we go. This is it. Ayana Nelt. She's got to do this. She's got to take it on, and she's got to take the sting out of Dibaba just behind. As you said, Chirono there, just behind Chirono. Cheptai, the other Kenyan, and third in the Kenyans chasing is Kibiwott. But this is the sort of pace you need to take the sting out of the likes of someone like Dibaba, who can run that amazing 3:50 for 1,500 metres. That's the sort of qualifying time that men run in state and national championships. So you can imagine what she's got to do to take that sort of speed out of her legs. And Ayana at the moment, I should say, is doing a good job. She might have to pick it up even more, though, over the next few laps.
Ayana leads then. And Steve, this is the kind of race you said she would need to run. 67.6 there, if she was to stand a chance of dominating her compatriot. Great effort from Mercy Chirono. Viola Kibiwott's the other Kenyan trying to go with this pace. Teferi, the world cross-country silver medalist, the other Ethiopian, she's in fourth, and Kibiwott needs to come past her and does so to try and close the gap on the lead three if she's to stand a chance of finishing on the podium. This is fast.
Yeah, it's fast. Ayana got annoyed when she raced Dibaba in the Monaco Grand Prix, where she did most of the pacemaking, and Dibaba went past her. She didn't like that at all. She thought that Dibaba should have shared some of the pacemaking, but what she's doing now is exactly that. She's taking her out again, and they're starting to drift now. Chirono is losing ground. These two are having a battle royal in front. Ayana stretching her legs out in front, trying best she can to run the sting out of Dibaba, but Dibaba always looks so menacing just behind.
Well, and this pace is devastating for the rest of the field. Mercy Chirono in third place is world class, and she is just going backwards. She's now been caught by Teferi, so it's Chirono, Teferi moving past on the outside as we're watching the women in first and second. And Viola Kibiwott also going past her compatriot. So the battle on at the moment for the bronze, and a separate battle in a separate level of class for the gold medal. Ayana still leading, but look, when she glances up at the screen, the nightmare is still a reality because Genzebe Dibaba's still there.
But she's pushing on. Look at this. She's actually going even faster, and this is a break. This is Ayana at her best. She can really pile it on, and she had to do it now. She had to do it with about 3 laps to go and keep the work going. Dibaba looks across. She knows maybe she's had it, but if Ayana starts faltering over the last 2 laps, then Dibaba will come back at her.
And Dibaba's beginning to respond. This is a really, really brave bid for gold from Ayana. She is the fastest of the two on paper, and Dibaba now has to hang on. Can Ayana sustain this pace and pull off what would be a fantastic victory and a shock victory, judging by the speed with which we saw Genzebe Dibaba storm to that 1,500 world record and the 1,500 title, and she's continuing to go away.
This is great running from Ayana. I mean, she's tearing away from one of the best middle distance runners in the world, and look at the gap over that lap and a half. She's opened up 20 or 30 metres now, and she's still going away with 2.5 laps to go. You don't do this sort of running unless you're world class, and you don't do this sort of running unless you are in absolute superb form.
64.5 for that last lap, a 2:43 kilometre.
She's absolutely bombing it. This is the sort of running you never see at this sort of standard, unless it's at the World Championships. And Ayana is pouring it on at the moment, beautifully smooth. Pilar mentioned in the heats how well looked like she was running, and I think she's actually proving it. She doesn't look as if she's suffering. She's looking up at the scoreboard, and every time she looks up at the scoreboard, there's confirmation that she's going further and further away.
Well, bearing in mind, Genzebe Dibaba has won 3 Diamond League races over 5,000 metres this season. This is absolutely extraordinary. You're quite right, Steve. You never, ever see this kind of charge off the front this early in a 5 or 10,000 metres, and she's absolutely destroying Genzebe Dibaba here. the bronze medalist from 2 years ago, is on her way to a glorious, glorious gold against a woman who's also in the form of her life.
Well, Ayana really is, at this point, almost 100 metres clear of the world record holder for 1,500 metres. And she is looking as if she could go even faster on this last lap. This is beautiful running. Watch this. You will never see this type of running again. This woman is running the race of her life here.
She has absolutely destroyed Genzebe Dibaba, who is still miles clear in the battle for third. But Almaz Ayana hits the bell and takes the applause of the crowd. This is a victory lap of honour. She is miles clear of the champion and the world record holder in the 1,500 metres. A lead of 85, 90 metres. The battle's on for the bronze. Turfy up against Viola Kibiwott. But this is a demonstration of class. She was outkicked by her compatriot in the Paris Diamond League when they were going for the world record. She felt she was unfairly treated and did more of the work than Genzebe Dibaba. Well, if she needed any extra motivation, she has produced an amazing, amazing race here. And Genzebe Dibaba may even get drawn into a battle for the bronze. Almaz Ayana has produced one of the bravest, one of the most impressive pieces of championship distance running we've seen for many, many years. Ayana is the world champion, and she's beaten one of the best athletes in the world this year. Genzebe Dibaba is having to hang on here. She's going to be passed by Turfy. She's having to respond. Coming back through on the inside. It's going to be an Ethiopian 1-2-3, but what order? Brilliant. Turfy comes through for the silver, and Genzebe Dibaba has to settle for the bronze. An Ethiopian clean sweep, but not necessarily the order we were expecting, and not the way we were expecting it. That was incredible.
The 7th fastest of all time, that race, after a very, very slow start. That's incredibly impressive. For the first almost 4 or 5 laps, it was not as fast as you would expect even in the Diamond League, and this woman just literally tore it apart after that. Wow, Dibaba must have wondered what was going on there. Ayana just kept going and going and going away from her. That doesn't happen to the likes of Dibaba. It surely doesn't, not that often anyway.
Fantastic piece of running. It was the 4th kilometre that was the real killer. She kicked in just before the 3K with a 66 lap, then a 64.5, which is when she really went away from the Dibaba. 66, then a couple of 67s at the end. The kilometre splits, it was slow, wasn't it, to start with? 3:01, 3:05, then the 2:49, then the 2:43, and 2:47 to end.
Yeah, she come home with that last 3,000 metres, Peter. Absolutely superb.
Teferi is absolutely exhausted, but she's finished in 2nd place. Genzebe Dibaba run down in the last 100 metres. That was an extraordinary run from the young Ethiopian woman. A championship record, and surely with that kind of confidence and that kind of injection of pace, at some stage soon, she will have a crack at Tirunesh Dibaba's world record. That was an amazing race to witness. The acceleration, the belief to take on the world record holder over 1,500 metres, who started that race as the favourite, and to destroy her in that manner was fantastic.
Steve just mentioned the last 3,000 metres. The last 3,000 metres was 8:19.57. Only 5 women have ever run 3,000 quicker than that.
As a straight race.
As a straight race.
Yeah.
So surely she's got the world record in her sights with that kind of speed.
Well, she has to, but that wasn't the point. The point what Peter is making is that when you throw that sort of 3,000 metres at someone like Dibaba, there cannot be any response. That's the sort of tactic you need to employ against a fast finisher. That's the sort of tactic the Kenyans and the Ethiopians needed to employ in the 5,000 metres against Mo Farah. They just did not do it. They didn't have the confidence.
You have to be very, very good to do it.
That's the
and
thing.
That's the point.
thing.
That's what she is.
Well, you have to be good, you have to be brave, and you have to have huge amounts of self-belief. I think it might take Genzebe Dibaba a while to get over that defeat, because she wasn't just beaten, she was absolutely thrashed in that final, and she's in great form.
I suppose it might make her concentrate more on the 1500. After all, she did a 1:57 last 800 in that, so she can produce the speed perhaps more at the shorter distances, she might feel. Leave Ayana to do the 5.
Well, that's a good point, Peter, and I think after that she might have to think very carefully about doubling up at major championships. But Ayana, beautiful running. Look at her. She's not even breathing heavy. She's looking up at the scoreboard, sweating, obviously. Those long, long strides just tearing up the track. That last 3,000 metres really was something very special indeed.
Well, the last 400 metres was basically a lap of honour against one of the great distance runners, the great 1,500-metre runners. I thought she was going to come back on the inside here, but the youngster does brilliantly to out-dip her on the line. World cross-country silver medalist Teferi. And she was not to be denied the silver medal.
Well, having said that, 1, 2, 3 for Ethiopia, you can't ask for better than that from a team. Absolutely superb. And then their win in the marathon earlier this morning. A great day for Ethiopia.
Almaz Ayana has just produced one of the great performances over 5,000 metres, a championship record. Sembere Teferi out-dipping Genzebe Dibaba on the line. The 1,500-metre champion was destroyed